I have now been using the Wearing app for a little over 3 years, tracking every item in my wardrobe, both that enters, stays, and leaves, and also every outfit that I have worn. I have been making yearly update videos on my experience with the app, and specifically then talking about my stats, my usage, the items in my wardrobe, that kind of stuff, not so much looking at like the user experience for the app, and this is now my third such update video. So I have been using the app since May 29th, 2023, and this video that you're watching right now is going to go up sometime in mid-June, so I'm pre-filming this a little bit. It is the 6th of June when I'm filming this today. However, I pulled these stats a couple days ago. I forgot to do it on the actual 3-year mark. I forgot to do it on the 29th of May this time around, but they are accurate enough, so let's just run with them. So the first thing I tend to look at in these videos is how many days in the previous year I have gotten dressed. In the first year, it was 285 days, and in the second year, it was 328. And this year I have surpassed last year's number just a little bit, with going from 328 last year to 333 this year. So it's 5 more days in a year that I have gotten dressed, which means that there have been 32 days in the past year that I haven't gotten dressed. During this last year, I have completed 1.5, almost 2, 75 hard style challenges. I am currently in one. I'm ending it next Sunday from when I'm filming this. Today's a Saturday, so just over a week away. So I have pretty much completed 2 75 hard style challenges over the last year, and one of the goals or challenges for that challenge, one of the guidelines for that challenge, is to get dressed every single day. Now I know back when I did it at the end of last year, end of 2025, there were a couple of days, a handful, 4 maybe, I don't quite remember in this moment, where I didn't get dressed because I got a stomach bug right before Christmas. It was great. This time around though, I have actually gotten dressed every single day of this challenge. And yes, I have, 8 more days to get dressed. I think I will manage. Hopefully there are no more stomach bugs in my future. But I have been doing really well at getting dressed every day for those challenges, or almost every day for those challenges. But I feel like I am getting dressed a reasonable amount of time in a year. There are times when I'm sick. There are times when I am just very, very tired and just want to stay in PJs on a weekend, and that's perfectly fine. And a few other occasions where I'm just in loungewear or PJs, and I'm perfectly fine with that. But the 75 hard style challenges, while I have been doing them, have challenged me a little bit to get dressed with a little bit more frequency. I do also want to point out that in the last year, in October, I believe, September, October, somewhere there, I got this pair of sweatpants, and this is my only loungewear piece that is in my wearing. So whenever I have been wearing those, they are actually tracked in my wearing as something having been worn that day. And there are 4 times in my wearing where I've tracked only the sweatpants. That does not mean that I did a reverse Winnie the Pooh. That just means that I wore that with something else loungy that isn't tracked in the app. And apart from those 4 times when I've only worn the sweatpants, I have also tracked them a few times with other pieces, like pieces I have in my wardrobe. I was like loungy on the bottom and a little less loungy on the top, pretty much, or lounging in something on top that isn't actually part of my loungewear. Does that make sense? I hope it does. And as for those sweatpants, I also do want to say that I'm not really actively tracking them in my wearing anymore. I have worn them more times than the stats in wearing says. I'm actually going to pull up and check what the wearing stats says. According to my wearing, I have worn them 23 times since I got them, which is fair. That's a decent amount. However, since January 1st, I've also been tracking my usage in a spreadsheet for my cost per wear tracking that I'm doing this year and probably beyond. And according to that, I have worn them over 100 times, and even that isn't an accurate number. So what I try to do with the spreadsheet, and I'm pointing here because my laptop is sitting right here, what I try to do with that is that I put in my outfit. For example, today I put in this dress as what I'm wearing, and then if I were to get changed, I would put that into the spreadsheet on a different column, like on the same line but a different column, because that's how the spreadsheet is built. And initially I did that a bit for my wearing as well, where I'd put in the outfit and then another outfit, but that felt like too much work for some reason, so I just did it in the spreadsheet. And then I also know that there are days when I've worn the sweatpants for part of the day, morning, evening, something like that, and haven't tracked them in the spreadsheet either. So they are definitely sitting at a bit over 100 wear. So they're 101 according to the spreadsheet. And the actual number is higher, probably 110, 115 times, something like that. I also in these videos tend to look at my usage, and there are a few different ways to look at this because I have for the past 3 years tried to wear everything in my wardrobe at least one time each year. And that tracking starts January 1st. Now we're in early June. I've only had half the year to wear things, right? But I've still gone through and checked how many items at this point remain unworn in my wardrobe from the beginning of the year. The first year that I tracked this, at the end of May, beginning of June time, whenever I did the update video, I had 21 items that remained unworn in my wardrobe, like from when I started tracking with wearing. I did, however, manage to wear everything in my wardrobe in that first year, and then I reset that counting for myself for the second year, at which point, at the almost midpoint of the year, there were 16 items that hadn't been worn yet at that point. Now, today, or when I pulled these stats, there are 32 items in my wardrobe that haven't been worn yet, which is the highest number I have ever had at these check-ins. And I think part of that comes down to the fact that I added a lot of items to my wardrobe last year. So the more items I have, the longer it will reasonably take me to wear them all. 3 items in my wardrobe have never been worn, and that makes sense. 2 of them are these turtlenecks that I got at a clothing swap in April. Now they are pretty thin turtlenecks, so maybe I could have worn them right then, mid-April, but it was starting to get warmer and I didn't really feel like wearing turtlenecks at that point, though I am very much looking forward to wearing these when the weather turns into fall and early winter, possibly later winter as well, but they might be too thin for later winter. And then the third item that has never been worn is this vest. But that is a bit inaccurate because this is a vest that I got in Japan last spring and it has 2 sides to it. It's reversible. So we have this side that is just plaid, very faintly plaid, and then we have this side which is also plaid but has patterns and colors, and on the back, pumpkins. And it's a much more fun way of wearing this vest than this is, according to me. However, I've only also worn this version of the vest one time. So I have worn the item, but I haven't worn the item facing this way. And I've tracked it in my wearing both ways because I think I might be wearing it differently with different pieces. And so I wanted an accurate representation of what the vest looked like when I wore it for the outfits. And I do also want to point out that I still use wearing the way that I have always used it, which is that I build the outfit when I wear it, and if I re-wear an outfit, I'll just pull it back in from another date. I don't tend to plan ahead, apart from like one video where I made monochrome outfits for a week for a previous year. Then I planned out all the outfits, but then I also wore all of the outfits, and I've done the same thing this time around for certain videos. For example, when I filmed this video, which was me styling outfits from a Beep World video, or Liz's video, a video by Liz, I wanted to play with those pieces in an app for some reason instead of being physically here in my office, and just play with that and see if it would work. And I have also used the app a little bit for planning videos. For example, this image, this outfit, quote unquote outfit in my wearing, I did not wear these 8 pieces together. I just wanted to see how they would work together and like cross-reference them with one another. That was really useful. But again, the way I tend to use the app is I put together an outfit. If I've used it before, I just use that same put together outfit, and if it's for the first time, I'll just build that outfit as I'm wearing it. I don't tend to plan ahead, apart from for videos apparently. But this year, some things have been happening with my wearing. Firstly, I was styled by Alexa from Alexa Sunshine 83, and I'll link my trying the outfits on video up here. And that meant that she was building outfits for me. I have also had my wearing open so that you guys or anyone else who wants to style me on wearing can go to my username and style me there. And I don't think I've worn any of those outfits, but I have liked them and added them to my outfits collection, you could say. And that's been really fun to see what people have come up with. And I was also doing a style swap with Lauren from Lauren in Layers, who I'll also link up here to that video. And that was also someone else playing with my wardrobe and styling me from afar, which was really fun. So I definitely have more outfits in my wearing than I have worn. I have 675 outfits put together in my wearing, and this includes then outfits that other people have styled for me that I haven't tried, outfits that I've put together for videos and worn in videos but not maybe in real life. It includes outfits that have pieces in them that no longer exist in my wardrobe. So I definitely haven't worn 675 different outfits in the past 3 years. However, there was a conversation recently at work after that clothing swap, so it was April sometime, where I wore jeans to my job, and a coworker remarked like, wow, I don't think I've ever seen you wear jeans. Granted, I've only worked at that job since October, but I also didn't own any jeans for a while. Like, there was a period of time where I didn't own any jeans, until then I went to the clothing swap and I swapped myself a pair of jeans. And when he pointed that out, then I was like, yeah, no, I don't really have any jeans apart from these ones. And I went to the clothing swap and I started explaining myself. And then my boss, who was also part of that conversation in the lunchroom, she said, yeah, I don't think I've seen you in the same thing twice. And that made me think, and that is a video that I'm planning. We'll see when and if that sees the light of day. But just how many different outfits I'd worn then in the first six and a half months of that employment. And I think that's very interesting. I do definitely rewear pieces, and I definitely do rewear outfits as well. However, I do have 159 items now in my wardrobe. That is a lot. It takes me a while to cycle through them. And it's not like I've worn a piece once and then I'm not allowing myself to wear that specific pair of pants, for example, until I've worn all of my other pants and circle back to them. That's not what I do. I do wear the same pieces, but her and I also don't see each other every day. Even so, I thought that was a fun thing, and I want to look at the outfits I wore in the first 6 months-ish of that job. And that will be a future video, probably. If that's interesting. I think it's interesting because I love this kind of stuff. But let's move on to my 10 most worn items in my wardrobe, and that is starting from May 29th, 2023. So if I had anything prior to that, I don't know how many times those were worn, and the numbers might be a little bit skewed, but everything that I've worn and tracked since May 29th, 2023 up until this point, this is the overall top 10. In the number 1 spot, which I am very happy with, is my pink linen and cotton trousers. These are my favorite item in my whole entire wardrobe. I hope I have these forever. I have worn them 70 times, which is up 19 times from when I made this video last year, and they have been in the top 2 of most used items in my wardrobe for every year since I got them, which is the same years I've made these videos. They were in second place for the first year, and then they were in first place last year and this year. My second top item is this white cardigan, which is at 49 wears, which is up 23 from last year. Next, we have this white button down, which is sitting at 47 wears, although this I did have for quite a few years before I started tracking with wearing, and it's up 11 wears since last year. And this is a white button down that has been broken and I've mended it, and it's been broken and I've mended it. I don't know how much life this has left in it, but I do really like it. I love wearing it in summertime, both open and closed. It was in second place of my tracking last year, and the year before I didn't have any white button downs ranking, although then I first of all just looked at the top 6 items, not the top 10 items, and if I'd tallied up all of my white button downs as one, they probably would have ranked, but this one has now ranked for 2 years in a row. Next, we have my navy trousers, which I'm a little bit surprised by. They were in 4th place last year, they're in 4th place now too. I've worn them 39 times, which is up 11 from last year, and I do like them, though they have definitely gotten a bit more snug with the years passing and my body changing and all that fun stuff, but I don't feel like I love them. I have other trousers that I find equally or even more comfortable and possibly even more stylish, if that's a factor I want to add to this. And I'm surprised that they are ranking so high, but I think also before I got the purple sweatpants, these were sort of a middle ground loungewear piece, but a little bit dressier than straight up PJs, perhaps. Next up is this green tank top, which I also had prior to ever getting wearing, so the actual wear amount is higher than this, but it is now, according to wearing, sitting at 32 wears, which is up 7 from last year. And is it my favorite tank top? No. How many tank tops do I own? Like 3. It's colorful, it's fun, it's bright. It's not a piece that I love, but it serves a good purpose in my wardrobe when I want a tank top and when I want something colourful that doesn't have sleeves on it. Next up is this pair of khaki trousers, which is at 29 wears and is up 7 from last year. These I'm also surprised that they are ranking in the top 10, simply because I have quite a fair amount of bottoms. Now, I got a lot of those bottoms last year because my body was changing. I also got these last year. I got them in January. And I am surprised that these are ranking so high because I have so many pairs and these are comfortable, definitely, but I have others that I find more comfortable. And I think I wore these a lot in the winter time and less so in the summertime. And we're now in early summer and I've started wearing my summer trousers more. And maybe that's why I'm thinking like, oh, but these summer trousers are so great. Why aren't they ranked? Apart from them, the pink ones, obviously my best favorite pants. I love them so much. Next up we have my axolotl dungarees, and they have also ranked every year, just like the pink linen trousers. These I have worn 28 times, which is up 3 from last year's video, and I really am struggling a little bit with these because I don't really know how I feel about them anymore. They don't fit me the same anymore as they did when I got them in early June 2023, so I've had them for 3 years now. They don't fit me the same. I am struggling a little bit with how to style them. I don't know if my style has evolved a bit or changed a bit. I don't really know what's going on, but I am struggling with them a little bit and I want to wear them more, especially if nothing else to get my cost per wear down, because that's also a thing I'm doing this year. But I do also remember really loving these. It's just that sometimes dungarees had a little bit of a hassle for going to the bathroom and stuff, but I do like them. I'm just not gravitating towards them, possibly because I have so many bottoms and that putting on a normal pair of trousers is easier than dungarees, maybe. But yeah, I will have to work on these a little bit and try to style them. Maybe I should try to like actively style them more because right now I am struggling with them a bit. Next up is also another item that was on the list last year, and that is this denim dress. I have worn it 27 times, which is up 4 from last year. That's fine. I did really like that dress when I got it. I do still like it, although now I haven't worn it for a while, so I don't know how it's gonna fit. But it is a really lovely dress. I've just been gravitating towards other things, and I want to make an effort to try to wear it more. Not just because of this top 10 list on my wearing, and not just for the cost per wear tracking. The dress is sitting at a lower cost per wear than I need it to be for my tracking, so like all of that is good, but I do want to wear it more if it still fits me comfortably. I think it's a piece that I want to try to style a bit more, just like the dungarees. Next up is this skirt in 9th place, and this was also on my list last year. Last year it was in place number 10, now it's in place number 9, and I've worn it 26 times, which is up 5 from last year. And just like last year, I am surprised that this, out of all of my skirts, that this is the one that has stayed on the list or made the list. And I think part of that is because a lot of skirts as well had to leave my wardrobe and then new ones have entered my wardrobe, and this has had a longer longevity in my wardrobe. It has fit me when my size has changed, and now I have new skirts that fit me at my current size, but that I didn't have when I was a different size. And the last piece, the 10th top piece in my wardrobe according to my usage, I'm not saying these are my personal top 10 pieces, but according to my wearing usage or my usage overall, my top 10 piece is this light blue denim button down. I have worn that 25 times and I have no number to compare it to because it didn't rank last year or the year before. But I got this the previous summer. I got this in summer of 2024, if not summer 2023 even, I think 24. So I've had it for a while, it just didn't rank. But now that I've given you this list of the top 10 items, I want to point out a thing that really stood out to me, but that also makes sense. All of these items, apart from the khaki trousers, all of them have been in my wardrobe for at least a couple of years, if not longer. The khaki trousers I introduced last January, so I've had them now for a year and a half. The white cardigan I also believe I got late 2025. But apart from those two items then, everything on this list has been in my wardrobe for at least a couple of years. I have newer pieces I've gotten the last couple of years, last year even, that I am very excited about and that I like a lot. But I simply haven't gotten as many wears out of them, probably because I haven't had them for as long. These 10, 8, depending on how you look at it, items have had a head start compared to some of my more recent things, and that makes a lot of sense. But I am happy with my top 10. There's no item in there that I want to like toss aside and be like, why are you here? I don't like you. I don't want you. Get out of my wardrobe. No, I do like these pieces. And I guess that in a way they are cornerstones of my wardrobe and my style. Or again, they have just stayed near the top because I've worn them plenty of times over a long period of time, or many times in short bursts and then kept wearing them sporadically, I guess, like the dungarees, for example. But that is all I have for you today. I feel like this video got a bit rambly and I feel like I'm a little bit croaky. I feel like I've been talking for a long time at this camera, but I hope this video was interesting. I have definitely learned some things or had some new thoughts pop up in my head as I was pulling these stats together, and I feel good about my wardrobe. I'm gonna keep using wearing. We'll see if I do a year 4 update. We shall see in about a year. But I do like this app. This video is in no way sponsored or endorsed. I have no contact with the people behind wearing, but I do like the app for the stats that I want to get out of it. It can be a bit glitchy sometimes. I have heard some people say that the tracking can be a bit inaccurate, and I've definitely had times like for a week or so when I've tracked outfits as I've worn them and then they've just been gone from the app. I think they've come back, but there have been some glitches like that. But for what I want out of the apps, for the stats that I want to acquire and look at, it works really well. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear in the comments down below if you use wearing or another wardrobe tracking app and how you find your experience with those. I have tried Index, and when I say tried Index, I mean that I input everything that I had in my wearing at that point into Index, and then I don't think I did anything more with it. I had plans to compare the two apps. That hasn't happened, maybe because it was such a hassle to just input all my pieces. We'll see if I get to that eventually and trying to test out both apps and comparing them. We shall see. But thank you so much for watching. I'll be back with another video soon, so I hope to see you then. Bye!